Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being President Trump's Secretary of State. People back home love you, think you're doing an awesome job, and they would want me to relay that to you, and I certainly feel it as well, so thank you. Secretary Rubio, Ukraine has been one of the largest recipients of U.S. foreign aid. We've given Ukraine well over $200 billion in aid since the war began, since Russia invaded them, and I've voted against all of it. Despite Zelensky's claims that, quote, when it's said that Ukraine received $200 billion in support to the Army during the war, that's not true. We received about $76 billion. It's significant aid, but it's not $200 billion. You know, Mr. Secretary, I actually am concerned that President Zelensky is right. You know, as I chair the Committee on National Security and Illicit Finance, I'm highly concerned that there's a lot of illicit finance there. Frankly, Republicans tried hard in the Senate and in the House to get a special inspector general there, but when you see things like that, there's a lot of concern. We know the previous administration wasn't following the money. Will you commit that you're following the money, and can you give us an update?
Yes, obviously all of our aid is going to be analyzed. We have inspector generals. We have a particular inspector general in that account that will look at all of that spending, and if we ever identify misappropriation or movements around, then we will certainly address it. But I think the broader point, and is the one you make, is that we've provided extraordinary amounts of assistance to Ukraine, but this war now has to come to an end. There is no military solution to this war. It only ends in a negotiated settlement, and the sooner it ends, the less people are going to die, the less money is going to be spent, and the less destruction there's going to be. And that's the president's #1 priority, end the war once and for all. For 3 years, no one did anything to end it, and he is doing more than anyone ever has, and he's the only one in the world that can. Now, obviously, it'll take two sides to agree to it, but the president has expended and we should be very proud that we have a president that's pursuing peace and not new wars.
I introduced the Define the Mission Act when they first went to war, because normally that's what you do first. Tell me what you're trying to accomplish, and then I can tell you whether I agree with the kind of resources you're asking for. We never could pass that. We never got a clear answer from the previous administration. So thank you for leading this effort on behalf of the president to define the mission, that we will help secure a peace. And one of those big steps was a minerals deal. I want to be clear that that agreement on minerals with Ukraine doesn't include security guarantees, does it?
There are no military guarantees, correct?
Yeah, thank you for that. And I just want to turn now, as the founding chairman of the Greenland caucus, to another area where we have the opportunity to talk about minerals, not just Arctic security, but Arctic opportunity, in a place where maybe it would make sense to include security guarantees. Could you give us an update on the administration's thinking about Greenland and the importance of that relationship?
Well, the administration's view is twofold. Number one, we respect the sovereignty and self-determination of the people of Greenland, and whatever they decide they want to do and what direction they're going to go. And number two, that Greenland is critical to global security because of its location, its geopolitical importance. That is not new. That has been known and that has been viewed for a very long time. It's why we've had a military presence there since before World War II, but certainly since then and during the Cold War. It is located in a part of the world, in the Arctic region, that we believe is going to become increasingly important in terms of global security. And we don't want to see Greenland fall under the influence of China or Russia or any other potential adversary. We want to ensure that it remains safe and it's strategically important, and that's his primary view. He views it as critically important to global security.
Yeah, it's well said, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for that. And our caucus would love to work with you and the State Department and whomever you designate to work with on Greenland issues in particular. We've been in touch with people there, people in Denmark, and really look forward to helping, from the legislative perspective, support the administration's objectives there. You highlight China, and they are working with Canada and the European Union to really counter what the U.S. and the administration are trying to do, and I'm really concerned about that relationship with China. I think one of the cornerstones of American strength is the power of the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. As we talk about stable coins and the future of money, China is trying to counter that. Could you talk about the future of money and the role of China?
Well, obviously, China is trying to create an alternative world order that they dominate. And we obviously are not in favor of that and will not allow that to happen. And one of the best things that we can do is get our own fiscal house in order.
Yeah, well said. You know, I think the future of money is one of the most important debates that we're having. China has implemented an Orwellian central bank digital currency. They're trying to impose that in the United States. And unfortunately, they have allies. People in our own government that want to build a central bank digital currency, link it to digital ID. I will submit that we are not going to counter China by being more like China. And I think the administration for leading with that, saying we're not going to embrace a central bank digital currency here, and working to bolster the strength of the dollar as the world's reserve currency. Thank you. My time's expired, and I yield back.
Recognize Representative